Why relationships break so fast, the hidden crisis no one talks about. We live in a world where love burns fast and burns out even faster. People fall in love overnight and then vanish just as quickly. Why? In this raw and emotionally charged episode of the Stoic Quotient, we go deep beneath the surface, into psychology, emotional chaos, and illusions that destroy modern relationships. But more importantly, we show how grounding yourself in true Stoic principles, not the commercialized version of Stoicism that glorifies control and Machoism, but the real Stoicism as it was intended to be used, can become your greatest weapon for love that lasts. Welcome to the Stoic Quotient, where we break illusion, expose the truth, and awaken the fire in your soul. This is not just another talk about love. This is the revolution of the heart, because in a world that's forgotten what connection even means, we dare to remember. Why relationships burn out so quickly? We live in a swipe-left culture. Love is now a highlight reel. Commitment, optional, ghosting, common. People come together at lightning speed, but disappear just as fast. Why? Because most relationships aren't built on the truth. They're built on projection, on fantasy, on loneliness disguised as love. You don't meet the real person. You meet the idea of them, and they meet the role they hope you'll play. Until reality creeps in, until silence replaces texting, until the mask slips. We rush in to escape ourselves, and run away the moment we see too much of the other. It's not love we fear, it's being seen, the illusion of instant intimacy. In this era of hyperconnection, we've lost the art of depth. We think vulnerability means oversharing online. We think chemistry means destiny. We confuse attraction with alignment. We mistake emotional chaos for passion. But intimacy isn't chaos, it's clarity. And most people haven't built the inner foundation for it. We want to be loved for who we are, but we don't even know who that is. So we show up with wounds, disguised as needs, and we beg the other person to fix what we refuse to face in ourselves. That's not love, that's codependence, that's trauma bonding, that's emotional outsourcing. Why people come together so quickly? It's not love that brings people together overnight. It's unresolved wounds, loneliness, escapism. It's the fantasy of being saved, the lie that someone else will make you whole. And when reality sets in, when the illusion shatters, we call it incompatibility. But it was never compatibility. It was coping. We don't fall in love. We fall into roles. Roles we were conditioned to seek. Roles we saw modeled. Roles that feel familiar, even when they're unhealthy. And when those roles stop working, we panic. We blame the other. We run. The untold truth about ending things abruptly. Most people don't leave relationships because they've outgrown them. They leave because they never grew inside them. They didn't build the inner muscles required for love, communication, presence, patience, truth. They confuse peace with boredom, honesty with attack, depth with discomfort. So they sabotage, or they ghost, because staying means facing parts of themselves they're not ready to meet. What relationships are meant to teach you. Love is not a reward, it's a mirror. A sacred mirror that shows you where you're still wounded, where you haven't forgiven, where you still hide. But instead of learning, we blame the mirror. We break the mirror, and we go searching for another, hoping this time we won't have to face ourselves. But you always will, because love, real love, is not about escaping pain. It's about healing through it, together. Why most people aren't ready for true connection? Because true connection requires you to be fully seen, without masks, without armor, without scripts. And that level of rawness? It terrifies people. They've been taught to perform, not to be present. They've been taught to control, not to surrender. They've been taught to impress, not to connect. So, they chase the high of the new, because the new people don't know their shadows yet. And the moment those shadows come out, they run. How Stoic principles become your anchor in love. Here's where it changes. Not through a new partner, not through a better app, but through you, through inner mastery, through Stoic alignment, through becoming the grounded, rooted version of yourself that love can actually thrive within. When Stoicism becomes your anchor, this is what shifts. You stop reacting, you start responding, you learn to pause, to reflect, to choose your words from clarity, not chaos. You stop blaming and start owning. You no longer outsource the work of love. You take responsibility for your triggers, your past, your projections. You stop chasing fantasy and start building reality. You let go of illusion and show up in truth. You stop asking someone to complete you and instead become someone worth showing up fully for. You stop fearing discomfort and start using it to grow. Stoicism teaches that every hardship is fuel. Every conflict is an invitation to rise. And this kind of presence, this kind of emotional maturity, it's magnetic because it creates real safety, the kind of safety love needs to survive. This is not commercialized Stoicism. If the Stoicism you hear about today doesn't help you grow, it's not Stoicism, it's performance, it's cosplay. It's just another mask for people too afraid to feel. Real Stoicism isn't a cold detachment dressed in mantras. It's not about flexing emotional control to feel superior. And it's definitely not the shallow alpha energy you see being sold as masculinity. Real Stoicism? It's not about escaping your emotions. It's about learning to hold them without being held hostage by them. It's emotional responsibility. It's spiritual maturity. It's the courage to face what hurts without numbing, escaping, or blaming. Commercialized Stoicism teaches you how to look strong. True Stoicism teaches you how to become unshakable, not by turning to stone, but by rooting in truth, by becoming so honest with yourself, so centered in virtue, that no storm can take you away from who you are. Because strength isn't the absence of feeling, it's the presence of awareness, the willingness to feel without crumbling, to lead without dominating, to love without control. If Stoicism isn't making you softer in strength, wider in wisdom, deeper in love, then it's missing the mark. We're not here to mimic dead philosophers. We're here to embody what they died trying to teach. Not control, not detachment, but clarity, presence, liberation. This is not commercialized Stoicism. This is the revolution of the soul. The albatross of trauma bonding. And here's the hidden thread that keeps so many tied to love that hurts: trauma bonding. The emotional addiction that forms when pain and love become entangled. When chemistry is forged not from soul recognition, but from shared wounds. And when do those bonds break? It doesn't feel like healing. It feels like death, like withdrawal, like losing a part of yourself. That's why so many go back, even when it hurts, even when they know better. Because the pain has become familiar, because chaos feels like home. But every time you return to a trauma-bonded connection, you weaken your spirit, you betray the part of you that longs for peace, and you reinforce the lie that love must hurt to be real. But it's not love you're missing. It's the illusion of safety you found in suffering. Breaking free from trauma bonding is not easy, but with the grounding of Stoic clarity, with the courage to sit with discomfort instead of running back to it, you reclaim your power, you dissolve the illusion, and you make space for a love that heals, not haunts. So if you're tired of the cycles, tired of pretending, tired of losing love that could have lasted, it's time to go deeper, to unlearn the lies, to rebuild from truth, to anchor in clarity, to rise in love, not just fall. This is the Stoic Quotient, not just a channel, a revolution of the soul, a home for the ones who dare to love differently. Subscribe, share, reflect, because this time we don't run from love, we rise through it. Thanks for watching.